After you get the plugin from the fab and install it, just go to edit and go to plugins, and in here you can search for fake. Yeah, you can see it's here. Just enable it from here, and if requires, just restart the editor. After that, you can either search from here, just type fake lighting this, or if you actually have the place actors panel, you can also drag it from here, like so. Yeah, as you can see it here. One requirement is that you actually need to have one directional light in your level. So you need to actually have a directional light with its intensity set to either like default or low or whatever, but you need to actually have some light in your scene. Otherwise, without any light information, this won't get any data in the GBuffer and it won't work. Yeah, just make sure you actually have a directional light, even with its intensity set to at least 0.1 or up. Okay, now in my scenario, I already have moonlight, which is pretty low. Like you can see, it's like 1 lux. After you have this light here, you can enable or disable it, change its radius. You can't scale it, like you can't just scale the radius and it will work. Like it won't, because if you you can see like the light doesn't work. So make sure you change the radius from here. I might update it in the later version to actually have the scale incorporate in the radius, but for now just change it from here. And as for the light, you can change it to anything you like. And there is also another temperature. So if you use the temperature, then it will add a tint on top of the light color. So it just basically I think in the back end multiplies the light color. So yeah, you can change the intensity from here. Try to make it natural. If you make it way too intense, then it will pretty much wash out all the texture details, because it basically applies the effect in the screen space. So if you make it way too bright, it will remove all the pixel details from that area. You can also change the volumetric enable or disable. If I enable the volumetric, you can see like it smoothly blends on top of other volumetric. I also have volumetrics enable on this light. If I just select all of this and disable this, you can see how that looks without the volumetric. And if I have those enabled, yeah, you can see. You can also change the volumetric intensity. Don't try to make it like this, like you can, but yeah, this looks pretty ugly. Just have it something subtle. And another thing, like for example, you can also use the Unreal's new local fog volume. One problem I found is like you can see like the local fog volume has these issues, weird issues, like it cuts off when you go near. I don't know if like even with the start distance set to 0, it like cuts it off. You can use this somewhat to actually have the similar type of effect, although it's not designed for this, so keep that in mind. So if you just set the intensity to 0, there is no light, but you can see like the fog, it kind of acts like a local fog. So yeah, you can definitely use it like that. You can see there is also this fade distance and max draw distance. I'm going to go over that a little bit later. There is also the inner radius fraction. If enable, it's like expanding. So yeah, you can see like it's, if it's 100, like it affects everything inside it. You can also change the exponent if needed. Like this is basically like the fall off. You can see there is also this flicker pattern. So mostly like when you actually have a use for this kind of light, it's something like an emissive material, or in some places like you actually have lots of candles or lots of like small signs. You don't really want to have point light for those, because that will get expensive. And if you want to have material function animation for those, for like adding flickers, that also gets expensive really far. So I also integrated some ready-made presets. There is this candle. It's a bit fast. You can modify it. So yeah, you can see. And this will, if I just go far, you can see like this works from even far away. So yeah, This is actually a pretty large map, by the way. You can also change how bright the amplitude of the flicker if needed. There is also other presets. You don't need to use these presets per se. You can just use anyone and then modify it if you don't like any of the settings. There is also this advanced section. This is not really, you don't need to modify any of this to make it look good, but if you need something stylized, you can tweak it here. For example, you can see how the light behaves with the wrap amount. This basically like wraps the light around the surface, so how it interacts with yeah, you can see like there is also specular multiplier, but by default this doesn't really take into consideration of the surface's specular like individual specular maps. But yeah, it uses the specular GBuffer to actually have the light work around. So for example, you can see like how it shines on the edges of the grasses, even though the grass blade is like, it's pretty poorly made. You can see like it's really awful, but yeah, if you actually have a specular assigned there, you can have it affect by that. The specular power also basically the sharpness of the specular. Now the backlight intensity is interesting. So let me just quickly add a shape here. Now if I change the backlight intensity, you can see like how the light wraps around it, and even in this like floating cube, you can see like it's like a rim light. So if you want this kind of effect, you can achieve it from here. You don't need additional lights, and this is also like dependent on this light, so you can actually have multiple lights with different settings. You can also have the normal strength. I think it's better if you see it in the texture, although like this is pretty low resolution, but you can see like how this increases the normal intensity, although you should keep it a little bit subtle to not make it look really cartoonish. Okay, this is pretty much all the settings there is. And for example, this uses the fake light component, so all the settings inside this fake light actor is basically in the fake light component. So if you want to actually have like build your own actor with this fake light, instead of using this one, you can just like create an actor and add the fake light component, and you will get all of this. So you can actually have a realistic light, like the real point light, the default unreal one, and also the fake light component here, and use this. Yeah, I will spawn like 5,000 fake lights without fake volumetrics. If you want, you can turn on the fake volumetric, although it will look really bad in this case. But yeah, and everything will react with the player stuff. So static mesh, nanite meshes. So yeah, and the performance is pretty great. Like you can see the FPS, it's there. Even if I'm not in this scene, I'm still getting around 90, and if I look here, I'm gonna get around, I think, 80. Yeah. And if you want to debug like if the performance is causing any issues or not, there are few console commands. So just type fake light. Yeah, you can see like all of the console commands. So fake light enable, disable, max light. If I set it to 0, we can see like it doesn't really increase the performance that much. There is also this fake light max lights. So I think right now it's set to 10,000. If you want, you can reduce it to, let's say, 100. So only hundreds of these lights near the player will light up, and anything further than that it won't. So if you want something like this, it is available here. There's also this volumetric enabled or disabled. So right now it is enabled, but you can disable it completely. So if I set to 0, you can see the volumetric here just disappeared. So this is the volumetric fake lighting. You can see like how bad this looks. But yeah, this is something you might want for your game. If you need it, it is there. But yeah, by default, the volumetric will be near the camera. If you want to like actually control how many volumetric light you want to see at once, I think right now the number is 64. but if you want, you can get, like, let's just say I want to show volumetrics for all of this, you can do that. Like right now it's 1000, so yeah. But yeah, this is going to look pretty bad, like because this is screen space effect, this is not really a real effect. So that's pretty much it. Also, if you want, you can actually have all of this light animated and it won't cause any performance issues at all. If you want, just go get it from the fab. It works on Unreal 4.27, so I actually have the compatibility set to 4.27 if needed. So you can, if you are using Unreal 4, you can get it, mainly because if you are targeting lower end hardware, it should support it. I haven't tested it on mobile phones yet, and but yeah, that's something I definitely will keep an eye on. Just reach me out on Discord, and if you actually have any issues, just let me know.